once again, and this time, this video is going to be a discussion for me, sharing it to you about the phrase that's very famous in one of the Chinese sayings, to be iron wrapped in silk. So to be like an iron wrapped in silk. And although there are very good life implications of that saying, that phrase alone was made first and foremost for the martial arts aspect, and that's what I'm going to actually talk about. So the life aspect can be discussed for some other time. And so a lot of people, when they hear that phrase, they tend to ponder it very, very long, and it really doesn't make sense sometimes because it really has a very deep meaning into it, especially in martial arts. And to be an iron wrapped in silk isn't really easy to wrap your mind around. And so that we can actually understand it better, we're going to have to break the phrase first. So there are two elements on the phrases, as you have obviously already saw or heard. It's iron and silk. Now, when you think about iron, especially in martial arts, you think about hard styles. So anything that requires you to use strength, or at least pushes you to rely on strength more than anything, even though you're using skill. So some styles that you would think of are boxing, so that relies on strength because you're actually using punching power there. Karate, because they're very rough and rigid. Taekwondo, because of their snapping kicks. Muay Thai is a very good example as well, since it's also very rough and rigid, especially when they're doing their switch kicks and all that. If you already watched some of the Muay Thai matches, you'll be able to understand that it is a very hard style, and so on and so forth. So that's one aspect of knowing or understanding the iron of the saying. Another saying, or another thing rather, from the Chinese saying is the word silk. Now the word silk implies that if iron is hard, then silk should be soft. And by soft, in the martial arts aspect, especially in the Chinese system, you're going to be able to understand that there are also soft systems, like for example Xingyi, Baguazhang, and the most popular of all those three was or is Tai Chi Quan, where you actually see people do very slow movements, especially when you live in Hong Kong and you see a lot of people gather in a park early mornings, I think, and there you're going to see a lot of people do all of these Qigong exercises really, really slow and doing them in sets. Sometimes they would take more or less than an hour or more than an hour in order to complete those sets. Apart from those, there are also some other soft styles like judo, even though it's really, really hard when you see the competitions. Shuai Jiao, Chinese wrestling style in the Chinese martial arts system. Aikido is a very good example of soft style as well. And the reason why they're soft is because you're not actually using strength, but you're actually using body mechanics and more of the skill. So it's actually a contrast to iron or the hard styles. Now that you know the two and the differences and the martial arts styles that you can think of to differentiate all of those and put them on the iron side and the silk side, when you combine those together, it actually makes you wonder and makes you ask this question: how can you be iron wrapped in silk? In other words, how can you be iron and silk at the same time? So how can you be hard and soft at the same time, especially in martial arts? The first thing that I learned was that in order for you to actually know how to be hard and soft at the same time is for you to actually do slow movements, and for you to fully understand how to be hard, you have to be soft. So you have to choose either or first. So in this case, you have to be soft. And by choosing soft means that you have to do everything in slow motion. So when you do everything in slow motion, when you do them fast, when you're actually instilled in yourself with enough training, a very good muscle memory in doing your techniques, then that's the time you're going to be able to do them hard. Say for example, a video by Sir DTG Taiho Jutsu, which I'm going to leave a link on the description box. He perfectly made a video about doing slow movements and then slowly, progressively transferring those slow movements into doing hard and fast movements. Say for example, you're going to do a karate block like this. See how slow that is? You're actually doing a knife block or a parry, depending on how you slowly do the move and on how you want to deflect the attack. So if you want to hit the arm of your assailant, so if you're going to do it fast instead of doing it slow, so this is soft, silk. If you're going to do it hard or iron, like so. See? Same with this side. See? Soft, silk, then you turn it into iron. Another aspect to fully understand to be iron wrapped in silk is to actually mix the two. And that's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, so I'm going to walk you through it. In order for you to actually fully understand those two being combined, aside from the first aspect, the second aspect is to actually learn them from doing the techniques itself. Say for example, I'm doing a punch. So in this case, I'm doing a right straight or right cross. See? If I just do this, then it's actually hard. See? But if I'm going to actually do just a small snap, it can actually be two. It can actually either be iron or silk. And the reason being is because this motion is entirely different from this motion, the full extension. This can actually be either a feint or either a soft hit in order to set up a wind-up hit. So instead of doing a full extension of a right straight, you just snap it. Very, very short. See? You can use it as a feint, like so. As opposed to having a full extension. The third and probably the most enlightening from all of the three aspects on the phrase be iron wrapped in silk was my understanding of shortening the distance between point A to point B. And the reason I say that was because there are a lot of techniques where the ground rules is you have to do your action from point A to point B. So in order for you to hit your target, say for example you punch here, your right straight, this is point A. And if I put my punch out here to reach my target, either the face, the chest, solar plexus, whatever, this is going to be my point B, the end part of the target that I'm going to hit with my fist. So this is point A and point B. Now to be an iron wrap in silk is to combine them by using both of them in hitting your target at the shortest distance possible. And a lot of people would, especially when they practice Chinese martial arts, would call this fudging. And this is roughly it, but it's not my full understanding of fudging. So the easiest example that I could use is Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. And that is one of the very good examples of an iron wrapped in silk. So I'm not going to do the 1-inch punch since I don't have anything to put my fist against. So I'm going to use my shoulder tackle, for example, from one of my recent videos. Say, for example, I do a shoulder tackle right here. See? I went from point A, from where I stand here, to point B. Like so. But what if your opponent is very, very close to you? And your opponent is a grappler somewhat, and he or she is actually embracing you and trying to tackle you, but your feet are planted on the ground. What do? Your hands are tied, but not as tight as they're tied here at the back, but they're actually tied here at the front. You just can't extend them because your assailant is embracing you and trying to tackle you, and he or she hasn't tried to sweep your feet yet. So instead of actually trying to move the hands of my assailant away from me so that I can get away, and reset and go to point A to point B again in order to do the shoulder ram, for example, as a technique, I would rather shake myself. So by shaking myself, I'm actually doing the shoulder ram in the closest distance possible, say from my hand touching my shoulder here. So if someone's embracing me, instead of just trying to let myself go from that situation, then reset, I would actually do or drop my weight. After dropping my weight, I would shake. See? I'm still using my shoulder ram, except that I'm actually torquing my body to the target and then back. So moving forward and then back. So instead of going here to here, I would actually drop my weight and then shake, so that my opponent will just go or be pushed far away so that I can be free. So once again, the difference, point A to point B. So, but when I'm embraced, like so. So it's the same concept in doing the 1-inch punch. Another aspect, and this is going to be a bonus, that you may learn from the phrase "be an iron wrapped in silk" is by the way you use your hands. We know that in martial arts, when you use your hands, it depends on the situation. Some martial arts systems would use their hands to parry. Other systems, like karate, would use their hand to block and strike at the same time. Other systems would use their hands to actually just grapple you. And other systems would just use their hands to strike. And basing on everything that I said with using the hands, for example, parry, that's actually soft. So that would actually mean that that's silk. But since your hand, depending on your intention, you can do anything with it. So after parrying, which is silk, you strike, now it becomes iron. So see, the hands and the feet, or whatever kind of body part that you use to strike, can immediately be like iron. Yet at the same time, it can also be used as silk, or it can actually be soft. Say, for example, I'm here, and my opponent tries to punch me. I dodge. I slip on this side, my left side. That means I'm silk. I'm being soft. I'm not actually iron, because if I'm actually iron and I'm rigid, and I'm actually trying to absorb the impact, it's going to hurt me. But if I'm going to actually be silk and move my feet, for example, or move my upper body, so that I'm going to evade the punch to my face, then I'm actually being soft. See? Even though boxers don't do this, since I'm actually doing a boxing stance right here, doing a slip, they're still practicing the use of iron wrapped in silk at the same time. So after slipping, they can punch. That's immediately an iron. They're immediately becoming hard or tough. So following the aspect of iron and hitting. Excuse me, it's really, really cold out here. Or in here. Another thing is when you're actually trying to mix the two, iron and silk, not only are you dodging and parrying, you can actually just wrap around or absorb. So after absorbing, let's say for example, your opponent tries to punch, you parry here, then you do a shoulder tackle right from the get-go, after absorbing. So you're being soft, and then immediately go hard. For example, opponent attacks me, I parry, like so. Opponent attacks me here. Now I know it's a rough explanation, and I'm trying to share this kind of information, but hopefully that would actually ease the curiosity for other people and to actually help them understand even a tad better on the phrase iron, being an iron wrapped in silk. I know that a lot of Chinese martial artists will come to this video and say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Which I may be. Excuse me. But the thing is, without my understanding of doing that, I wouldn't be able to actually practice or train with the way I train. And like doing the shoulder tackle, for example, or I may not be able to fully understand how to do the 1-inch punch, for example. So hopefully this would help you, even in the smallest way possible. If there's any other additional information that you can add, please do so and leave them in the comment section so that people can actually be able to understand the saying, be an iron wrapped in silk, because it's a really, really deep saying, actually, and it really took me some time to fully understand it. So, thank you so much. Train safely. God bless you all. Again, always train safe and